Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Webtoon Wave. I'm your host, Audrey, and I have a really exciting guest today. You've probably read her webcomic Love for a Walk on Webtoon. Please welcome Nuria Sanguino. Thank you for coming on the podcast today.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
I'm so excited to get into this with you. All week, I was just like, I get to talk to Nuria. This is going to be amazing.
I was so excited too. You're doing such a great job with the podcast, so thank you. It's an
Thank you so
honor.
much. It's an honor. Okay, so let's get into it. Tell me about how you got into making webcomics and then give a synopsis of what the story of Love for a Walk is.
So I started making webcomics. I think that it was in 2015 on Canvas that it was called Discover, I think.
Yeah, it was Discover.
Yeah, and I just started there and I was keep trying with different series in different platforms, and now here we are. And about Love for a Walk, it's a story about two people that are so different. There's a girl that is so cute and so shiny and have a big dog called Bob that is kind of a Doberman. And then there's Tyler that is a super, not shy, but pretty introvert guy
Mhm.
that have a little dog, super cute, that is called Killa. So yeah, there looks like they don't have anything in common but dog, and
Yeah.
that's basically the series.
Yeah, I absolutely adore Pam and Tyler's dynamic. Tyler is such an introvert. You know, he doesn't really go out much, but he adores his dog Tequila. And then Pam, she's extroverted and she's fun and she loves
Mm-hmm.
hanging out with her friend Anne. And she has a big dog, Bob.
Mm-hmm.
It's so cute. I love the dynamic.
Thank you.
So tell me about your first webcomic, Oh My Ghost, which is still on Webtoon. If people want to go read it, it's on Canvas.
Right, right. I'm a little shy about that because it's been 9 years now. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, 9 years now. So yeah, I think that I was that I had 18 years old or something like that. Yeah, looks the best that I did at that moment, I guess.
I mean, it was your first webcomic, right?
Exactly, exactly. Yeah, no regrets about that. Yeah, it was another romance about a girl that can see ghosts. And yeah, I have it's like my little baby. I still have it
Yeah.
in my heart. Yeah.
So, how long have you been doing art, just in general?
Like professionally,
Well, I
or
noticed like on your Instagram,
how
you're
did I
doing
start?
like commissions and like just like portrait type stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I think that my first comic was also in 2015, and it was published in Spain. It was a one shot, and then I started with webcomics. But meanwhile, starting with trying to do webtoons until now, I basically was doing illustrations for people for weddings. Yeah, maybe a little books for children books.
Hmm.
So yeah, I did a lot of things related to illustration.
Yeah. So how were you introduced to webcomics then? And like what made you want to start even creating a webcomic?
So I didn't know about the platform, and it was not a thing here back to 2015.
Hmm.
But then there was a contest, and one of my best friends was in that contest. She didn't win, but she ended up being an author
Mm.
on the platform. It's the author of Hooky and Marionetta. So it's Miriam.
Yeah, Miriam, yeah.
So I know because of her. So
Yeah,
we were
okay.
studying together, and I saw how well she was doing there.
Hmm.
I mean, it's the dream job for us that we both were studying art and mainly focused on comics. So yeah, I just was sharing her journey. I wanted to be there too. So yeah, that's thanks to her that I'm here right now.
Oh, that's amazing. Oh, I bet it was so
Yeah.
exciting for you to go to Miriam and be like, guess what, Miriam? Like,
She was the happiest. I mean, of course, my family was so happy. My boyfriend was so
Yeah.
happy. Nothing compared to me. And I was like, we are co-workers now.
That's so
Yeah, yeah,
cute.
yes. She was so cute. Yeah,
That's adorable. Yeah, she's insanely talented. I mean, I've
right.
read a little bit of her webcomics and she's just amazing.
Yeah, yeah. Totally recommended. She's a genius.
Yes, definitely
Super
recommend
hard
her
worker.
series. So, since you started, you were doing art, kind of doing like that commission-based stuff, and then you started your first webcomic. So, what does your art process look like when you're creating your webcomic? Like, what does it look like when you're creating Love for a Walk?
So step by step.
Yeah, like kind of just
Hmm.
step by step what your process looks like.
Yeah. I think that the first thing that you have to do is doing the whole plot of or at least the main ideas for how the series is gonna go.
Hmm.
So the first thing that I do is working on that, and then like the daily process. Once you have that, I first write the dialogue, then I do the storyboard, and keep it in simple line, flat, shadow. Then I color the lines
Hmm.
so it's not black. It's like depending
Yeah.
of the flat color. And finally, I just do the little details like the inside eye
Hmm.
or the bride of the hair, sorry,
Mm.
and the lights. That's the only thing that it I feel that it's more because of my style.
Hmm. Yeah. So you basically take an entire episode in those stages, like you do the sketching first for like the entire episode, then the line art. What I really love about your art style is there's such an intention behind the use of color. Like everything is just so like colorful, but like really well done. Not like in an overwhelming kind of way,
Thank
but
you.
yeah, even just like the color palettes you decide for like the highlights and the shading is just really, really beautiful.
That's so funny because I don't even decide. I just do
You just
what
do
I
it.
can
See?
do because I never was doing well with coloring.
Hmm.
Never. It was always the weakness that I had.
Hmm.
So now that people are enjoying it, it's like, okay, I still don't know what I'm doing. I just do my basic thing that please don't. Oh my gosh, when it's like a night scene or something like that, it's like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how to do that. But yeah, thank you,
There's
thank you.
yeah, there's a scene in Love for a Walk where Pam is going out in the rain with Bob. And I was really actually impressed with how you did the coloring and the
Thank
lighting
you.
with that.
Thank you so much. It was so hard.
It
It was
like
so
the
fun.
coloring to me, like an outside perspective, the coloring looks like your strength, not like your weakness.
No, no. With the beach episodes on the Caribbean, oh, it was a nightmare at first. Like, how do I do water? I have no
Oh my
idea.
gosh.
So
Yeah.
no, but once you have it, it's like just do webcomics and it will be a constantly challenge.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I think people underestimate how hard creating a webcomic is because it's more than like you think about what an artist does with like a single piece of art they post on their profile on social media or whatever. But then it's like webcomic artists are doing that for like multiple panels in an episode.
Exactly. Even
Yeah.
if you want to be on your comfort zone, there's no way. There's always a poster or a
Mhm.
hand that it's so difficult to draw. So it's constantly a challenge.
What I mean, I love hearing creators not like okay, I love hearing creators talk about like what they struggle with because it kind of makes me feel a little bit better about struggling with like certain aspects.
Whenever you want.
Like I really struggle with anatomy. It's so hard for me. Like insanely hard.
Yeah.
To me, it seems like as I've read Love for a Walk, like to me it looks like you've been doing art for like 20 years and like doing webcomics for 20 years because
I mean, I did alone in my house. So hopefully, if you look back at oh my gosh, you will see that yeah, there's a huge difference. So, but it's just
huge
like hours
difference.
and hours and hours. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
the really great thing about being a webcomic creator is that your skills build really quickly because you're like constantly drawing. I mean, you know, depending on the person, I guess, but in most cases, like you're drawing all the time and you have to learn how to draw expressions. You have to learn how to draw the human
Mm-hmm.
form and like gesture and like figure and just, and then like coloring. Like it's all, you know, those skills build pretty quickly over time. Definitely.
That's totally true.
Yeah. So I kind of want to get into more about Pam and Tyler in Love for a Walk. Like
Mm-hmm.
I said before, I really love their dynamic and I love the contrast between them.
Mm-hmm.
So when you were creating Pam and Tyler, what did that process look like? Like, what were the traits that you wanted to give them? And like, how did you decide on it?
Yeah. So because the main idea when I was thinking about Love for a Walk was that when you have a dog, there's no way you don't start talking with people that you don't used to or you never thought that you will.
Hmm.
Because, maybe it's you're alone in the night walking your dog and there's like a huge man full of tattoos walking in the same direction and you're like, oh my gosh, it's so dark in the night. But if you have a dog, there's no way you're not gonna talk and you will discover a lot of people that you never thought that they will be kind or so that was the main idea, like all the people or all the judgments that you don't have to have when you have a dog, right? So the main idea was that. So I needed to completely different people, and that's how they came out. So there was not one first and another. They was just created at the same time.
I really love just the contrast between, like, I know we said it before, but I absolutely adore the contrast. Like opposites attract is like my favorite like
Trope.
couple trope. Yeah. Yeah. So how did, like, was there any particular inspiration behind Pam, like as a protagonist? Like were there certain traits you really loved in like other characters that you maybe watched on TV or read?
So I guess it's for Pam, I needed a bright person, super happy, super. So that's pretty different from me. But I feel that Pam is so much as me or my friends, that type of girl that is on her 30s, that is, there's a lot of people that it's like, okay, maybe I'm doing this in my life, but I'm not sure if that's what I want to do. But I'm not sure if I change my job, what I'm gonna do. Is that moment in our life that a lot of people is living. So I just was thinking in that type of person that is dealing with that more than a specific inspiration, I
Hmm.
feel.
Yeah. Okay. Um, yeah, I think Pam is just such a relatable character. I feel like a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people connect with her. You know, there's one of the episodes, her ex-boyfriend comes back and it was a horrible experience and she's basically just crying and like breaking down, but to me it was like really inspirational that she was just like all also like cheering herself up, be like, I'm not
Mm-hmm.
gonna let a man ruin my night, like I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
have a good time. Like I was like, oh man, I want to be like Pam. I want to be more like that, you know.
Yeah,
she
I feel we don't know that much about her family yet, but yeah, that's something that is gonna be showed. Like, how is she like that? How is she that positive, even if she's
Yeah.
crying, or it's just so because of the family that she has that it will be
Hmm.
completely the opposite again with Tyler's experience.
Hmm.
So yeah, everything has a reason,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah. And I also love just how like doting her parents are on her. They
Mm-hmm.
adore their daughter so much and it's really cute. Yeah. Um one of my, I think my, well, okay, episode 35, I know I have to say episode 35 is like my favorite. Okay, but my favorite episode is when, after Pam and Tyler have like their argument and they're both
Mm-hmm.
like really frustrated and like upset. And I was like, oh dang it, it was going somewhere. And now they're arguing. Oh, shoot. But, it'd been a couple weeks and she saw that Tyler's dog, Tequila, was missing. And
Hmm.
my heart broke because I'm a dog owner. That's like my
Yeah,
worst nightmare, right?
yeah,
And
it is.
yeah. And so I love that without hesitation, Pam was like, I'm gonna go find Tequila. Tyler, you
Hmm.
stay here with Bob. I'm gonna go find her. And I was just
Yeah.
like, yes, Pam. Yes, girl. And then she like finds her and it did choke me up a lot. Like,
Mm,
because it's like I have a personal connection with Pam as a character. And it just warmed my heart. And then she comes back, and Tyler is just so relieved. And he's like, don't leave me, stay here tonight. I was like, oh my God. It was just such a special moment. And
hmm.
it made me really happy to see that they could work through like their differences and like the argument that they had. I wanted to ask you like, the emotion that Tyler and Pam or the emotions that Pam and Tyler are feeling in that episode was like really realistic.
Hmm.
How did you
Experience
portray that
something
so
like that?
well? Yeah.
No, no, I hopefully I haven't, and hopefully I'll never. I hope so because I think that have to be a nightmare, and all my support for whoever
Hmm.
are dealing with that or just happened in the past. But no, how I don't know, as you said, I'm also a dog owner, so just thinking about that and putting myself in that situation, that's something that I used to do to understand what they are feeling at that moment. So intense scenario that she's mad and then she totally forgot about that and just go right to help him. It's like, is there anyone who are not gonna do anything like that? If you have a dog, you know that there's nothing else than that. At that moment, nothing else care.
Hmm.
So yeah, I feel that she did, like she looks pretty like brave at that moment. But I feel that that will be the natural reaction for everyone around me, at least. And for Tyler's, it's like, what else are you gonna do? I will be shocked. I will try anything, but I will be so shocked. So yeah, that was my mental process.
Yeah. I mean, as a dog owner, it got me really emotional because I was thinking about my own dogs, right? And
Exactly, exactly.
I think
Yeah, that was not a funny week to work on
I
because
bet
yeah, the
not.
emotions were there.
Yeah. It also just goes to show like how amazing of a storyteller you are and just how good you are at portraying emotions and giving characters so many realistic traits. And from a reader's perspective, it's really powerful to be able to connect to a character on a deeper level.
Yeah, I appreciate it, but I don't know. It's my way to do it, so I don't know how else to do it. So thank you.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I did want to ask. So, do you have a favorite? I mean, I have a guess, but do you have a favorite character in Love for a Walk?
I have. What's your guess? If I can ask.
Can I say Bob? Is that your favorite character?
Okay. I mean, of course, I love him, but
Yeah,
no, actually, I think that my favorite is and
I love Anne. Yeah,
and Tequila.
and
So
Tequila.
you can see that it's pretty similar. So yeah, just like the Mean Girls vibe, it's my favorite,
Yeah.
even if they are not. They're not. They're such a sweeties. Yeah, just the sassy characters, even in the movies, are like my favorite. The
Hmm.
villains, the Mean Girls. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, I adore her.
I love how sassy Anne is, and I also love how bold she is. Like when they go to the
Mm-hmm.
bar,
She is. That's how she is.
it's wonderful. I love her. I was like, Bob is inspired from your own dog Taco.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, of course, I love him, but yeah.
Oh yeah, we could to our viewers,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
let's introduce them to Taco. I think that's
Sure.
essential.
Okay, okay. Bob. It's not Bob, it's Taco. It's Taco right here. Oh my God, don't be shy.
He's
Yeah.
camera shy.
So yeah, this he's my muse. He's so confused right now. He's
So
so
cute.
confused. But yeah. So yeah,
Adorable.
basically it's Bob. Yeah, let's say that it's Bob.
Um, when you launched Love for a Walk, what
Hmm.
was what did you expect from like audience, like the reception from the audience? Were you expecting it to get as popular as it had, or did you kind
No,
of had like, okay.
I mean, no, it's been crazy, and thank you a lot for all the support that I'm receiving these days. No, I just wanted to do a story that people can relate, especially in my age right now, because I've been a reader for all my life. I always read romance, but I was a little bit tired of the high school vibe. Everyone is super young, and it was like, okay, that's not a genre for me anymore. It looks like that, at
Hmm.
least in the manga style, right? Oh, of course, there's a lot of series,
Shoujo
but
manga,
but
yeah.
not series that I discovered recently.
Hmm.
So yeah, I just wanted to do something that maybe someone in my situation can be related.
Yeah, yeah.
But with all the support that I'm having, no, 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 I didn't expect that at all. But it's crazy.
It's wonderful. I just love seeing people just love your webcomic, and for good reason. It's amazing, and like you said, it's a story that people can relate to on a lot of
Mm-hmm.
levels. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
also like refreshing amongst a lot of the webtoon originals coming out. I feel like Love for a Walk is
Mm-hmm.
such a breath of fresh air. Like not having like the toxic tropes,
Uh,
positivity, just wholesome vibes all around.
yeah. Yeah. I think that's it's thanks to Pam that she's that positive that makes all the story have that vibe.
So after launching Love for a Walk and like, it's grown a lot. It's like super popular. You have so many like wonderful fans who just love the series.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say is the most rewarding aspect of just being a webcomic creator?
As you say, the readers. That's
Hmm.
that's the main thing, especially when you are working on webcomics that you have one episode per week, then that makes that every week you have comments and you have opinions rather than being a writer or just working on graphic novels. Yeah, you maybe spend a whole year working on something that you don't really have any opinion. So for me, the best thing is that you always have feedback
Hmm.
every week, so you don't get that lost
Yeah,
compared to other projects. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. Well, that makes sense. Yeah. I could imagine like becoming more popular. It's kind of just common for you to receive a lot of different opinions from a lot of different people.
Mm-hmm.
And I I don't know. I couldn't imagine with a story like Love for a Walk, you'd have a lot of people commenting like negative things. I mean, I don't know what there would be to comment.
No, not that much. Of course, there's people that don't agree with something in the story, or maybe they don't like what is happening. But like disrespectful or hate comments, no. And if there's even one, the readers are answering for me.
Yeah, they're
So it's
defending you.
like, yeah, yeah, totally. So I think that I don't know if I can say that I create a community or anything like that, but it's true. The Love community, let's say like that, it's so healthy. It's so supportive each other because sometimes there's people that comment experience with a dog that passed away or something like that, and a lot of people is like, wish you the best. And yeah, it's so grateful to see that. Yeah, I feel that I'm so lucky.
Okay, I guess I'll just go into like our last question before we get into fan submitted questions. What advice would you give to somebody who wants to be a webcomic creator?
I will go with first do a series that you like and you will like to read. Because I feel that there's a lot of people who think like what people are gonna enjoy, what people want nowadays. And it's like, forget about that. You're gonna be working on this for so many hours to make sure that it's a topic that you like, a topic that you understand, no matter the topic. You like football, then make a series about football. Do you like K-pop? That was my example. I did a series about K-pop. It's like wherever you like, make it yours with your characters. Yeah, that would be the main
Yeah.
advice.
Yeah, that makes sense. How would you, if somebody wasn't sure about how to create the plot for their series, how
Mm-hmm.
would you tell them to go about doing that?
Yeah, so first make sure to have the plot done before you really start working on it. And I don't know, maybe look for the purpose of your series. What do you want people to learn about your series? What's the mission of the characters? Like they start from here and what's the evolution that they're gonna have? So yeah, basically that main ideas to start with. And yeah, I don't used to create that complex stories, right? So if it's a person that likes romance or not that psycho or not that big plot, complex plot, I would say that try to create characters that people are gonna love or relate. Make sure that your characters look like a friend that you could have, or no matter what happens, even if it's the simple thing, the simple life in the world, you have to care about the character because you love the character. So yeah, just focus on the character and make sure what do you want to tell to people with this story. That's what I would
Yeah.
say.
Yeah, I think that's really good advice. Like, create a story that you yourself want to read and create characters
Mm-hmm.
that you would want to read about. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What about like art or like we covered the plot and stuff, but like what about art? Like what would you tell maybe a webcomic creator is too afraid to start their series because they don't think their art
Mm-hmm.
is good enough. What would you tell them?
Yeah, I would tell them just do it. It looks so typical to say that, right? But that's true. I mean, you know that you can do it better. Great. But what's the best that you can do right now? Because you're gonna be improving. We talk about that. There's no way you're not gonna improve doing comics because there's a lot of time that you have to spend on there. So you're gonna be better. But right now, what's the best that you can do? Being realistic, knowing all your weakness that you have right now, and then just start. Because if you don't start, there's no way that you're gonna improve.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I
it's
mean,
super important to just put it there and put it on public if you want the feedback of other people.
yeah. And it's a scary thing for somebody who's I mean, I'm sure like every webcomic creator who's ever published was nervous about their first series.
Yeah, even if it's not the first. Yeah, for sure. Every release, it's a new game. Like, what's gonna happen? We don't know.
Yeah. And I have friends who the reception of their first webcomic was not good. Like they
Mm-hmm.
published it and people didn't like it and told them, and
Mm-hmm.
it's definitely scary to put
Mm-hmm.
yourself out there. And
Yeah,
you know, as webcomic creators, we get very attached to our stories because they're like our
totally.
passion, right? What would you tell a webcomic creator who may be kind of in that situation, like that
Mm-hmm.
they have not had the best feedback about their story?
So, yeah, just learn about it. So, why this didn't like? And maybe you don't have the whole information, but there will be a moment in your life that you're gonna look back and you will understand what happened there. Also, there's always that part that you can't control, like there's no formula to know what is gonna be succeeded or no, right? all the information that you have, it's gonna be the best for the artist that you're gonna become in the future. So just learn about that, of course. I mean, we talk about that before we start recording. This is not my first series. This is probably my, I don't know, 10 maybe.
Yeah.
I did a lot of projects, and yeah, you have to. I know that it is scary, but just try it, because even if it doesn't work, it's gonna work in the future because you're gonna learn. So yeah, just try it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's really good advice. A lot of creators I talk to also say that if you want to do a webcomic, just do it and you'll
Yeah,
learn along the way.
exactly, exactly. It maybe sounds cold to say it like that, but it's just like that. It's like you have to do, because if not, you're gonna stand in your room wondering and wondering and wondering. Should I
Hmm.
do it?
Yeah. Yeah. And you never know what could happen. Like in your case, you
Mm-hmm.
had several
Mm-hmm.
series before you started, and look where you are now.
Exactly.
I definitely wish I heard something like that when I first started or was considering starting a webcomic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get into our fan submitted questions. I had 50 plus questions in my
Oh my gosh.
in the story that I posted.
Oh
It
my
was
god.
really hard to decide. A lot of people were asking very like plot related questions. Okay, so our first question is from Mia. They asked, will Tyler's past affect the relationship between him and Pam? So maybe you could kind of like talk about Tyler's past, at least like what's already been shown, and then like give context.
Yeah, so as we know in the story right now, we know that there's not a good relationship with his mother, and that she have an ex girlfriend. They end up, they still love each other, but they end up, and that's so far what we know right now, right? And we know that there are situations that she just shut down, like he don't open up to Pam, not at all, and even make uncomfortable situations between them, right? So it's gonna affect. Of course, there's no way that your past doesn't affect your actions, but it doesn't have to be bad, because of your past. You can now learn from that. Yeah, so of course it's gonna affect, but it could be in a good way, because now they can learn together. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
all what I can say
Yeah.
right now. So it's gonna affect, but not always it's a bad thing.
Gotcha. Okay. Ascension Liz asked, is there something in any of the couple's relationships that you want readers to take away from? What would
Like
you want
something that they
readers to
can
take away
learn.
from the relationships? Like what could they learn? Yeah.
Yeah, I will say that, because they are adults and we're used to read stories, or I'm used to read stories that it's like the first relationship, not for them. So I think that maybe they can learn that you have to respect your partner's past, and you both can again learn together and learn from your mistakes from the past. So yeah, I think that that's something that they can learn or be related to.
Amia Tripiniotti asked, are you going to end Love for a Walk as soon as they get together? Please don't. We want to see them.
No, no, no. There's a lot of story.
Yeah.
Yeah, after that, a lot. So no, no worries. If at some point you see a confession, no worries. There's a lot of story to come.
Phew, thank goodness. I honestly, I don't like when stories just end after the main ship gets together.
Yeah, I have to say, because it's the first time that I'm working on a romance that keep going after they ended up together. It's so difficult. It's so difficult because it's like, okay, so now, I mean, it's so interesting because, okay, now we are a couple. Now what? Now how are you gonna be your daily life together, right? But still, it's like, I think that because I haven't read anything like that. So this is my first time really thinking and working on that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely got to be
Interesting
a
process.
challenge. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
And I've read a lot of stories that the main ship will get together and there's
Uh-huh.
still a lot of story left to tell, because their dynamic changes, their situation changes, you know.
Uh-huh.
And plus we love seeing the main ship be together. Like all the
Mm-hmm.
fluffy romance, all the yeah, yeah. So that's great news. So Michael Ness asked, "What are your favorite rom-coms? Like romantic comedies? Could be a
Yeah.
movie, could be a series, could be a book, maybe
Okay.
another webcomic."
Okay. So, I mean, I'm a drama fan. So I'm not that used to rom-com, even if I'm doing kind of some like that. But movies, I think that all movies that was released on late or early, yeah, I think that all that kind of movies I really like. And about, for example, mangas, I read a lot of mangas. I think that the main one that it's romance and comedy, it's called Lovely Complex.
Lovely
I was
Complex, yeah.
obsessed because I'm so tall. And that was like my Bible at,
mm,
yeah, at that time on my teenager. So yeah, I think that that one was a big one for me.
what about just romantic dramas?
Mm. Okay, wow. Now I have a lot.
Please tell.
Yeah, I love all the work that Ayazawa made, the creator of Nana. Yeah, it's like my most author that I admire. She and Io Sakisaka from uh, How to Write, or
I love that
uh,
one.
yeah, yeah, these two women. Oh my gosh, I love wherever they do or they did. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, that's my favorite. And Fruit Basket, that was
Fruits
another one.
Basket.
That
Yeah,
was.
I think it's interesting. A lot of creators I've interviewed have also said that they got really inspired by manga in their
Mm-hmm.
earlier life.
Yeah, 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 yeah. My main thing was always manga. So yeah,
What about, do you have any webcomics that have been your favorite that you've read?
yeah. So lately, I'm reading more webcomics compared to because I was working on doing webcomics a lot, but I've never read that much webcomics. I have to confess. But now I'm a big reader.
Yeah.
Of course, with medium work, not just because she's my friend, but she is just a phenomenal author.
Yeah.
So, Hook Marionetta.
Like,
I'm also reading Wanna Be Friends.
oh my gosh.
It's
Yes.
so good.
It's so
It's
cute
so
and
good.
wholesome. Yes. She is. She's precious. She's such a kind person.
Right? Oh my gosh.
I did
I really love this story.
I did a collab with her just a little while ago and she's like the sweetest thing.
Oh my gosh. I'm sure of that. So yeah, that's like the three series that I'm reading every week.
Crystal Xian asked, "What is the thing, moment, or person that inspires you the most?"
So right now working with L4AW, of course, is Taco, my main inspiration. Yeah, I feel that my life changed so much since I have him. Not just him, but also with my boyfriend, like the family that we made. That's like my main inspiration. But not just with L4AW, with other series. The thing that inspires me the most, I think that it's music. I'm
Mm.
gonna say. Like I really, really, really need music to get into the vibe of the story.
I love that you've included music in Love for a Walk
Oh my God,
too.
yeah.
Especially
Yeah.
in, oh yeah, I was gonna ask you, so with episode
Huh?
35, you have that OST. How did that come about?
Okay, so in the 35, you say?
Mhm. Or
Okay,
like the one where they're like
dancing.
dancing. Yeah.
Right. That's a funny story. So I used to make the music with Aggappe, who is a group from Barcelona, from where I'm from, and they are amazing. Really recommend them. But on the 35, I want music, but the Aggape group was so busy back then and they couldn't make a music for me at that moment.
Mm.
totally fine with that. But because it was the dance, I was like, oh my gosh, I really want music. The thing is that I was writing that episode and actually working on the storyboard
Mm.
when a random playlist starts and this song just pop out. I never heard that before. And I was, this is gonna sound so intense, but I'm gonna be honest, I just start crying. I was crying like this is what I need right now. So I was obsessed with who created this song. Do I even have the possibility to have this song? Because of
Yeah.
course you need the copyright, right? So I figured out that the singer is also the composer, and he have an Instagram. So I tried to text him, and he was so nice, and he was like, "Yeah, just use it. Okay, I'm
Oh,
totally fine. Yeah, I will love it."
that's so
So
nice.
yeah, so thank you so much to Fame to give me that opportunity. And
We'll
yeah,
plug them in
yeah,
the show
yeah,
notes. Yeah.
yeah, please, because he's awesome. He's totally awesome, and I feel that the episode is that good thanks to the song, the whole
Oh yeah.
experience.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
It definitely added to it. I felt like I was watching a drama or like watching an
yeah,
anime. Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, it was magic at that moment. Like I need this, and yeah, he was so nice, so perfect.
Yeah. It's honestly like it was such a beautiful song too. I feel like it fit the moment so perfectly.
It is, it is.
Okay, so Sushi Cat Go had an interesting question. They asked, I'll give context. They asked, do you prefer to use warm light or cool light when you're drawing? Like, do you like a cooler palette or a warmer palette?
No, warm always.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with Love for a Walk, there's,
Yeah.
yeah, it have to be warm. I don't even know how to put the light with blue, for example. I know
Mm.
that a lot of people do it. I don't feel comfortable with that. It's like, I don't know if it looks great. Maybe it's my style, or maybe it's because I don't know how to do it right. But I think that, yeah, warm. That's as yellow as possible.
Yeah. I really love all the really bright, warm tones you have in there. Yeah.
Thank you.
So I think our last question, and this one I think everyone, like, this is probably the most important question.
Okay.
So Ellen Elin Arts asked, is there going to be a new comic after Love for a Walk? Because I can't live without her stories.
Okay. I mean, that not just depends of me, because I really want to have a company behind. So if Webtoon wants another story, I already have another story.
You do? You have a story idea?
I do. There's a lot of love for Wolfers. Let's
Yeah,
focus
of
on
course.
that. But I know what's gonna be next, and I don't know how if I'm supposed to say it, but I'm just gonna say it. You guys already know who's the main character of the story. I know. Yeah.
Wait, is it going to be a Love for a Walk spin-off? Is that what it's going to be?
Not spin-off. No, no spin-off, but yeah, it's a character that appears on Love for a Walk.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
And I have to say that I even have the first episode on because I made that story before Love for a Walk.
Oh my
But I
god.
ended up deciding to just go with Love for a Walk.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. That's so exciting. My
Yeah, so
goodness.
let's cross fingers that
Cross fingers,
because
cross everything.
I'm in love with that story, especially right now, because this character is coming back again, so I can't stop thinking on that.
That
But
is
I'm
so
focused,
exciting.
guys. I'm focused with Love on the Wall right now.
Yeah, Love
I
for a
promise.
Walk first.
Love on the Wall. Exactly.
Yeah. That's so exciting. I do you have like a lot of stories on the back burner?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I know what's gonna be next, but actually there's a couple more that I know that I want to do at some point.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think that the smart right now is because it's a character related to Love for Work right now. The best is like this one coming first.
Okay, that's amazing. I can't wait for the theories to come out. I can't wait for all the fan theories. Well, Nuria, thank you so, so much for appearing on the podcast. It was such an honor to talk to you and talk about how you created L4AW and just more about you and your journey. It's been an honor. Thank you.
No, thank you. The honor is mine. Thank you so much.
I will include Nuria's links. I will include her social links. You can go read L4AW on Webtoon. I will also include the artists that collaborated with her in the show notes to do the OST for her webcomic. L4AW has merch in the Webtoon shop. You can go, I think it's shop.webtoon.com, and just search by series. Yeah, she has a lot of cool stuff. She has tote bags and shirts and all sorts of fun stuff. So definitely go support her there. If you found today's episode fun or informative, you can follow us on our socials at The Webtoon Wave. Go listen to us on Spotify. You can follow us on Instagram at The Webtoon Wave. Thank you for joining us today. Stay creative, stay inspired, and we'll see you next time.